So after 22 years of being in the Marine Corps, where I did 4 combat tours, 3 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan, been on the boat 3 times, twice on the Westpac, once to South America, and about 42 different countries working with foreign militaries. There are some things that stand out more than others, and that was the opportunity to learn to be a leader. I'm not saying that the Marine Corps did a great job of teaching me to be a leader, but it gave me so many opportunities to experiment with what my leadership style was that I effectively was able to incorporate all the best qualities to be the leader that my Marines needed me to be. I'm Eric with Leadership Developed. We're going to talk about the 11 Marine Corps leadership principles that I still find useful after retirement. But first, for you that do not know what these Marine Corps leadership principles are, we're going to cover them real briefly. Then I'm going to tell you which ones I feel are still useful today in retirement and in running my own business. The first one, and to me the most important one, is know yourself, seek self-improvement. This is the ability to ask yourself the questions, what do I know, what do I not know, and what am I assuming? And by being able to ask yourself those questions, you're able to categorize where your shortfalls are. You're able to figure out, what do I need to do to achieve to be the person that I want to be? Most importantly, how do you become the person that your people need you to be? As Lou Holtz once said, if you ain't growing, you're dying. And that's true today, even after the Marine Corps. I'm always learning something new. I'm learning something about myself. How can I be a more charismatic person? How can I be a better person for others? How can I attract more people to follow my lead? But most importantly, how do I get people to trust me? How do I get people to know that I'm committed to excellence? And how do I show people that I care for them? Second one is be technically and tactically proficient. I didn't say be an expert. Just know enough that you can understand the experts that are working for you. Reason why that's important is you have to be able to communicate with everyone around you what the expectations are. You have to be able to speak the language. It also helps you understand your people better when they're trying to bring up a problem. If you don't understand what the problem is, you can't effectively make decisions or find solutions or provide resources that they need to be at their best. Also, the one lesson that I learned from this was by being technically and tactically proficient within the people I'm leading, keeps the wise guys from BSing me. There's nothing worse than somebody who thinks they're smarter than you, talking circles around you, and making you make a bad decision. It's mostly to protect yourself from people that are BSing you that will eventually get you in trouble. The third one is know your people. Look out for their welfare. In the Marine Corps, we have 2 priorities. 1 is mission accomplishment, 2 is people welfare. And that's because our people are our resources. We don't have the ability to replace people because we have a finite market of people that are qualified to be in the Marine Corps without lowering our standards. Unlike the business world and corporations, Marine leaders take interest in their people for ensuring their growth and ensuring their welfare. Whereas the corporations do not care if you get a DUI or if you're financially struggling. For a Marine leader, those are important things for us to understand of our people. If we can't help them through those problems, then we lose that person and we can't get a replacement. It's important for Marine leaders to nurture our people to be the best versions of themselves. That way, their readiness to take on any challenge is always up front and not being bogged down by other competing pressures. That's the difference between a Marine leadership and corporate leadership. Corporates can replace anybody, but Marines, you can't replace them. Fourth one is keep your people informed. There's nothing worse when people at the lower levels do not know what's going on. They start creating rumors, answering the questions with their imaginations, and then they don't understand why the task is assigned the way it is. By keeping your people informed, it creates conduits of information. It allows your people to know exactly what's going on. It keeps the fog of war down and gives, in a sense, a trust that they're taken care of because they're being told of where we're at, where we need to be, and how we get there. Number 5, set the example. I was taught by my dad, an Army guy, that you have to set the example as a leader. The reason is because nobody believes in do as I say, not as I do. we all look at the example as being the standard. If the leader is setting the standard, that's the bare minimum of what's required of the people. They're trying to exceed what that leader does so that they can be a better leader than their leader is. And trust me, of all the Marine Corps leaders I've had, only 1% of them were true leaders. So by setting the example, you're able to create a nonverbal communication of what you want out of your people and what success looks like. Number 6, ensure that the task is understood, supervised, and accomplished. That seems like a no-brainer, but there's many times that leaders will set it and forget it. Executives are the worst at it. They send down a task on email and expect it to get done, and then when they ask why it didn't get done, well, you didn't seem interested in it, or you didn't come down to take a look at it. As a leader, by making sure that your people understand it, that you supervise it, and that it's accomplished, you're showing that you do care about what this task is, that you're creating key performance indicators to let you know where they need to be, and they understand what the desired results are. Supervising isn't micromanaging. Supervising is the ability to have them report to you the progress of where they're at. And also, supervising allows you ability to mentor your future leaders and to be able to give good progress reports and not excuses. And then making sure it's accomplished. You inspect what you expect. That is the greatest thing in the military that we're taught. If you inspect what you expect, then the standards are set. Then the people know what you're looking for, and they're trying to exceed those things. Have that sense of ability with them as well. Number 7, train your people as a team. By mentoring your people, not just as individuals, but mentoring them together, allows them to be able to experience from each other. By being able to learn from other people's mistakes and not embarrass each other, they're able to multiply the experiences that they would not have had if they did it on their own. People learn best from experiences. By having team members experiencing everything with each other, they're able to become force multipliers because together they're able to share what they learned with their future teams. Make sound and timely decisions. In the Marine Corps, we depend on our small unit leaders to be able to make decisions that help progress us to the desired results. Doing so, we give them parameters, guidance. This is where the levels that we want you to make decisions at, and these are the levels that we need you to push it up for a greater decision. And by stalling on decisions, you effectively stopped any progression. The Marine Corps success is on its ability to gain and maintain the momentum of any action. Decisions are the biggest stopping point of any momentum force. In a business world sense, imagine you're waiting for the business owner to make a decision while you're trying to help a customer. In doing so, you are losing time and probably other customers because you're waiting on an answer instead of being empowered to make that decision. By having the ability to make timely decisions, you're able to keep the momentum going, and then the momentum allows you to exponentially increase the business that you're trying to accomplish. Develop a sense of responsibility among your people. This is where I like to talk about autonomy. Here, I want people to take ownership of their tasks. And by creating an environment for them to take ownership, to have autonomy, then they have vigor, they have energy, excitement to go on to this challenge and to show you how great they are. And by being able to create that environment, you're going to have many levels of people doing exceptional things. And that's what makes organizations successful. Because a leader can't be successful unless their people are successful. Employ your team in accordance with its capabilities. You don't take an infantry marine and you make them a wrench turner on an aircraft, even though that wrench turner is trained to be an infantry marine. We have to understand what gets the best bang out of its buck. By knowing what your people are specialized in and being able to do things that are within their wheelhouse, you're now taking away any loss of time for training, learning, or anything like that. However, the controversy to that is I want well-rounded people. You want well-rounded people. So don't be afraid to train them outside of their capabilities, to increase their capabilities. That way, you can still use the rule and be effective and have effective people to accomplish something that they normally would not have done without that cross-training. And last and not least is seek responsibility, take responsibility for your actions. We want you to be growing leaders. We want our young Marines to be growing leaders because our society in the Marine Corps is an up and out. We don't have the ability to say, no, I'm done, I'm just going to be a specialist. If we don't go up, we get kicked out. And so by learning how to take responsibility and learn how to seek responsibility, that creates a desire of our bosses to have them stand up for us to get promoted. Take responsibility for your actions as well is the fact that you're accountable. And accountability is a huge thing in which now you're not, as a leader, they're not accountable to you, but you're accountable to them. You can fail them or you can be successful to them by the way you support them, by the way you mentor them, by the way you provide resources. So we talked about the 11 leadership principles. So which ones do I like to use now that I've been 6 years retired from the Marine Corps? Well, first, know yourself, seek self-improvement. That's the most important one to me. I use that every day. I'm always learning something new. I've learned how to do YouTube. I've learned how to create videos. I've even now learned how to communicate better. I've learned how to be more effective in attracting people to my cause. The other one is know your people. Look out for their welfare. The thing that's important for leaders to understand is people look for leaders to do three things. Can I trust this leader? Is this leader committed to excellence as I want to be committed to this excellence? And does this leader care for me? Those qualities are important for that leader-team member relationship. By having those three things in front of you, you're able to be exponentially better than your peers. Set the example. By setting the example, you've used less words and little time to show what the standards are that you expect of your people. It's that easy. The last one I like to use as a leader in the civilian world is develop a sense of responsibility amongst your people. This is the whole creating autonomy, allowing them to show you how great they are. In doing so, they have a sense of pride in how they want to grow as leaders themselves. Now, my answers aren't the perfect answers. Other military leaders have an idea of what they prefer in teaching leadership as well. There's no right or wrong way. It's just these are the examples that I like to use as I'm learning to create relationships in the civilian world, to create attraction between me and people I would hardly have known before. Understand that my experiences created how I think and feel about leadership principles. Allow other leaders to help you understand what leadership principles are important to them and where that came from. In doing so, you'll be able to develop what you know is important to you and your team as you try to take on the challenges of the world and the best version of you and your organization that is possible. I'm Eric with Leadership Developed. If you like this video, hey, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up. Also, hit subscribe. Tell YouTube that this video needs to be seen by other growing leaders. If you missed the last video, hey, check it out. It's right over here. We'll talk to you again next video.